This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stock Box interview. Joining us today is Christian Taylor-Wilkinson, the Chief Executive of Altona Rare Earths. Hi Christian, Happy New Year to you. How are you doing?
Happy New Year, Mark. I'm fine. Thank you very much. Good to talk to you again.
Yes, well, thank you very much for your time today. So, for many of my interviews and discussions with various people over the last year, this year, 2022, is sort of hyped to be set to be the year for battery and EV metals and commodities. So I'd like to just spend a few minutes just talking really about rare earths and the market really. So in terms of prices then, Christian, they're fairly high at the moment, aren't they? Can you give us a bit of a snapshot?
Yes, of course. So what we see across the full basket of rare earth oxides, they're now at a 10-year high. And if you various publications have printed the sort of full list to show the price movements year to date, 1st of Jan 21 to the end of the year. And we're seeing, the main ones, the praseodymium, neodymiums, the didymiums as they're called, they're up 147% and 85% respectively over the year. And some of the other very key metals up sort of 50%. Yttrium's up almost 300%. So I think the trend is that these prices are increasing due to the supply demand, which is only going to get greater as the years go ahead. And I took a couple of questions the other day from shareholders who are maybe doubting the longevity of rare earths in this sector, in the electric vehicle market for the permanent magnets. So I did some research into it. To see if there's an alternative or when there might be an alternative to replace a permanent magnet based from rare earths. And the only thing I could find really is Toyota. They've been looking into this alternative magnet using nickel and iron in this thing called a superlattice. And they've been looking into it since 2011. And it doesn't seem to be going anywhere. There doesn't seem to be any realistic commercialization of this research that they're doing. They're talking about gathering metals from meteorites. It's that it's that sort of situation. So I'm sure at some point there will be an alternative, but we've got to look at Altona's position in this market and when it might join the supply chain, which hopefully will be 2 to 3 years time, and there won't be an alternative. So Altona's future for the next 10 years for providing rare earth metals into the supply chain of not just permanent magnets for electric vehicles and wind turbines, but every other device technology that needs these rare metals. It's going to be there, and I imagine from looking at this data and what China's doing and what Myanmar's doing, COVID's affecting things at the moment. I think there's some sort of strife over the border, so there is a bottleneck going on at the moment. And as you know, it's been well published. Every government around the world is now fully publishing their data, their timelines on when combustion engine vehicles have to cease. And every new vehicle made will have to be electric powered. It's within sort of 20 years or 30 years. So the prices are going to keep rising and the demand is going to keep rising. And until there is an alternative source of supply that is not China, and Africa obviously is looking very good. That's why so many companies are now exploring potential mines in Africa. We're in a very, very good, solid, future-proof state, I think.
Okay. So is it fair to say you would echo the feelings that demand will outstrip supply for quite a while and prices will remain strong for a long time?
Yeah, it is. Demand is already outstripping supply. I read somewhere else as well that China's used a third of its reserves, which it published back in 2008 or something. So China's supply isn't inexhaustible. Their mines a lot, this is the ionic clay mining that they do over there, which is, you pull out less rare earths, that the concentrate is less, but they have billions, trillions of tons, and it's formed around there are sort of tinings and slag heaps from other mining operations that they're going through and processing. There are obviously proper mines where they're digging into the ground and removing earth, stripping land, but their reserves aren't exhaustible, especially in the heavy rare earths, which our project Chambay is predominantly focused on. We're pushing ahead with our plan. 2022, we've got some pretty steep targets that we're trying to achieve this year. We spent the first week or so of January meeting to decide our strategy, our targets, our milestones, how much cash we're going to need, agreeing the budget. Everything is in order. We're just waiting for the rainy season to end in March and we can start drilling. And I think before that, we will get the results back of the initial sort of 40-odd holes that we drilled at Monte Mayambe in Mozambique. So we should have the first published data in 10 years on this project. And this is the first published data focused on rare earths rather than the previous owners focusing on fluorite. So we should get some good news into the marketplace in the next month or two, or next couple of months. And then we start phase 2, which is expanding the drilling program of last year. And we're looking to put 200 new holes in based around whichever areas, whichever sectors of the basin show up good. But I think we're also going to do another phase 1 in other parts of this crater, because there's still about 75% of the crater unexplored. So it's a vast area, and we've got a lot of work to do.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you're going to be very busy with exploration there that the market can look forward to, and hopefully the company's set to capitalize on this space in a large way. And of course, one big moment for the company is the IPO onto the main market. Can you give us any indication about how that's going at this stage again?
It's going. We submitted another draft of the prospectus before Christmas. We just got our results, the comments back from the FCA yesterday. We're meeting today with our advisors. We expect to submit another draft either at the end of this week or the beginning of next week. The questions the FCA are asking aren't difficult. They just need comfort, I suppose. A lot of companies apply for this listing. A lot of companies have listed on the either AIM or the main market of the LSE and have failed due to various reasons. So they need to watch for that. Altona's situation is unique. We were listed on AIM for 15 years. We moved off AIM onto Aquis when the Nomad resigned back in 2018. And, being an unusual case, they need to have comfort that we're moving, or we wish to re-enter the LSE market for the right reasons. So we just keep supplying the data to respond to their answers, and eventually they will be comforted enough that they'll let us list. I don't think there's any doubt that we won't list. It will happen. It's just a question of when. And I think that we have internally predicted that, by the end of March, based on our advisors' experience as well in this, by the end of March is our next target date.
Okay. And in terms of what's going on at the moment then, Christian, you've mentioned about spending some time sorting out your budgets, getting things in place for drilling and making some strategic plans. You've also been meeting with the joint venture partner in Malawi, is that right?
Yeah, we're dealing with them on a daily basis at the moment. Our joint venture partner, they've been working closely with the village elders, leaders, the communities, the major stakeholders since this license was granted to them in February, March 2020. So they've been laying the groundwork already, and we're just now they have more cash to play with, increasing that. So we've already done a couple of COVID teaching sessions where over a 4-day period, a few hundred people came to various locations to learn about protection against COVID, handing out hand sanitizers, washing stations, masks, all that sort of stuff. The Mulanje Massif is we've discussed this before, it's a UNESCO biosphere. and it's got some rare, or used to have some rare trees on it, this Melange cedar, which is the national tree of Malawi, but there aren't any left. They've all been logged. And we're going to be getting involved in the, let's call it the annual tree planting month, which is March, where Altona and Akaswiri together, we're going to be putting in maybe about 16,000 saplings of trees around the various villages to help provide future source of charcoal and wood, but also I think to help provide shade, barriers against wind, and also the roots infrastructure will help soil erosion as well. So, and I think it's just one of the things we're trying to do here before we start drilling to show that Altona and its partner is here to improve the area, not just with jobs and putting money into the area, but also on a basic level, like coronavirus or trees. I think it's just what every company should do if they have the opportunity to do it. It's the right thing to do.
Okay. Well, Christian Taylor-Wilkinson, the Chief Executive of Altona Rare Earths, thank you very much for your time today. And I look forward to catching up as we go through Q1, and hopefully some drilling is commencing and some results are coming through from Moambe, and you approach the IPO into the main market. But thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you, Mark. Good to talk to you as usual.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter, and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at stopboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.